Welcome to another edition of Clean Pin. Clean Pin. I hope everything's going swimmingly for you guys here. Clean Pin on the from the Bleachers Sports Show. Let's make sure that we're live here. How the hell are you? It is April 27th, 12:32 in the AM. And Clean Pin here. I've done a few episodes. It's every other week. It's what we try to stick to here. Got to hit that notification bell just to know when I do go live. Last one I went was just before WrestleMania. I do want to touch base on that actually. Um, and just kind of touch base. WrestleMania was what about 3 weeks ago now. Just want to touch a quick quick thing about WrestleMania as well before we get into um, many other things here. And as I always say, we try to fit what is it, 2 pounds of bologna in a 1 pound bag. That's the statement that we're looking for. Let's see here. So we're on up and going. Boom, boom, boom. Well, by the way, have you hit the notification bell here? It's free. Let's make sure we're up live. Chum, 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 chum. Bum, 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 bum. Let's hear it. Let's hear us. Okay, make sure. Whoop. Make sure we're up live. All right. That is it. We are up and at 'em. We're good. We're here. How has everyone been? I hope you've been well. And again, Clean Pin. What we do here is we talk about sports. No, we talk about wrestling. Everything about wrestling. A lot of things I want to get into. A lot of wrestling news. A lot of thoughts and opinions. And again, this is just thoughts and opinions, and I do sprinkle in wrestling videos um, throughout the week. A lot of retro, a lot of current. Just been really busy lately, so I have a lot of videos on backload that I'm trying to put out there, and it's just been really busy with everything. So hitting that notification bell would be of great thanks. So let's begin here. You can't be watching Friends when you're doing a wrestling podcast, right? Jesus. So where do we begin? Um, just on WrestleMania, two things on WrestleMania. Um, this Sami Zayn match. Now there are other things. Does Sami Zayn match? Does Sami Zayn match again from WrestleMania? I'd probably argue with you is probably one of the better matchups, if not one of the best matchups from both the cards from WrestleMania, from Saturday and Sunday. And I'll explain before you look at me like I have 5 heads, as I'm sure you're looking at. Like I have 5 heads here. Here's the thing: what Sami Zayn had to do to make all the figures in this, all the things, all the objects in motion that Sami Zayn had to work with, and he had to make sure that it came out respectable, it came out believable. Did you see what he was able to do with Johnny Knoxville and the whole cast of Jackass? Now I know they're super. The cast of Jackass, from what I heard, was were super respectful. They were just all for it, all gung ho, all wanting to do and put on a good show, all willing to listen. But for Sami Zayn to be able to put that type of a matchup together with all those parts and teach guys like what was it, Wee Man, the dude with the typer, refresh my memory, like that guy Wee Man, to do what he was able to do, and to kind of keep Johnny Knoxville on the straight and now to do what he was able to do. That's pretty damn impressive. I'm sorry. And it's a match now. When you think about it, a lot of I think it's funny. A lot of wrestling fans, like from the IWC and uh, broads, Facebook communities and Facebook wrestling communities, are they're up and at 'em, up in arms whenever a celebrity comes aboard and has a WrestleMania spot, and it's usually to promote something, right? Of course, it's to promote, whether it be a movie or a show, whatever it may be. And they got their WrestleMania spot, and the internet, the IWC, is up in arms. Oh, such and such should have had this spot. Well, listen, such and such does not get a reaction, so he does not get a spot. Yes, it's a wrestling show, but it's also, you have to be entertaining. Yes, creative is not the best, but you have to make something of it. Try your darndest to get some type of reaction. I'm sure you'll be on the screen, and I'll speak more about that too. By the way, Zeke Elias, fucking hysterical. That just kind of ties into my point, what I'm saying here. But you know, I think the wrestlers, they want to be in these type of matches against these celebrities. Hey, for the simple reason, look, they make the celebrities look good, especially if this a celebrity could pull it off. They train with them, show them the ropes, just like Zayn did with Knoxville, just like Miz did with his guy. His name slips my mind, but fucking media, social media influence is through the roof. It's a two-way street. The wrestler trains the guy, but Logan Paul. The wrestler, trains Johnny Knoxville, Logan Paul. Logan Paul said Johnny Knoxville looked presentable, and now everyone's talking about it. They were already talking about it because the huge media following that they have on Twitter, Instagram, has reached so many new ears and eyeballs. And now they look good in the ring, so that continues to circulate the buzz. So WWE wins because they get new eyeballs, hopefully looking at the product. Logan Paul and Johnny Knoxville athletes, they get free advertising in a sense of whatever they're promoting, they're pushing. And they also have new eyeballs looking at them. And the wrestlers, what they get out of this is, well, it opens up an opportunity possibly for acting, comedy sketches, whatever it may be, movies. These guys, these wrestlers are thinking ahead, thinking about what they want to do down the line after wrestling. So it's like getting a foot in the door. What, you're telling me that Sami Zayn did not like his matchup with Johnny Knoxville? You're telling me that Sami Zayn did not have a kick of walking down the aisle or the red carpet that it was there? Of course he did. He loved it. He enjoyed it. So it's a win-win for both the wrestler. It's a win-win for the entertainer. New eyeballs. They're pushing their product on their TV, and the WWE again gets new eyeballs that hopefully they could sustain and make new fans into or bring back old fans. I mean, listen, and I'll make the argument that some of these recent celebrity dudes and girls that have been on the WWE card on WrestleMania have been pretty damn good. Haven't embarrassed themselves at all. Logan Paul, he played the look. He had the gear on, good shape, didn't embarrass himself. Looked like he was a natural. Well, let me take that back. Looked like he knew what he was doing. Johnny Knoxville wasn't, it was a different type of a match, but knew what he was doing in the ring and looked like it. They all there, and I'm sure they messed up various times, but all that was covered up by The Miz and Johnny Knoxville, The Miz and Sami Zayn. So listen, dare I say that some of these guys they look better than the actual wrestler. Look, Logan Paul, he looks like a wrestler. You had Dominic Mysterio there. That's Dominic Mysterio compared to Logan Paul, who looks like the wrestler here. And I'm taking nothing away from. I mean, I'm just simply using that as an example. Logan Paul looked like the wrestler. Dominic Mysterio looked like the average Joe Schmo. These media guys that they have that they bring in, they look the part, they play their part, they look like $1 million. Sometimes look better than the actual wrestler. Bad Bunny too, what he was able to do. So it's a win-win. Yeah, it's been a lot better. I'd rather have these spots than some of the spots that you had for special guest referees, right? From back in the day. So, yeah, I mean, look, pretty much a tradition. What's going on, Cody? Pretty much a tradition. And look, even like even like the Jersey Shore girl, like Snooki looked like she knew what she was doing. She looked presentable. So, I mean, it's a win-win, and they've been better. They've been better, and it's just I don't know. The reality matches in WrestleMania are something not to look past nowadays. It's something to definitely look at, and it's not as bad. And I'm just jumping around. The other thing from you got to give one last thing on WrestleMania before I quickly jump along since it's old news already. But Kevin Owens, man, props for pulling off what he was able to pull off, and even more so, Austin for what he was able to pull off for a dude that has not been in the ring for 19 years. 19 years. That is pretty damn incredible. Pretty damn incredible. Um, you know, everything was protected, and Owens and especially McAfee uh, throughout both nights sold that stunner like $1 million. Vince McMahon trying to sell a stunner, I get it, 70 something years old. Not the greatest, but he tried. A for effort. And how about that for nostalgia? Seeing Vince McMahon in the ring. Vince McMahon, for being 70 something years old, dude is jacked, more jacked up than I could ever be in my lifetime. And that was pretty damn impressive. That was a good showing. That was a good showing. It was something that was um, kept your attention. Anytime you have Vince McMahon and Austin in there, kept your attention. Um, but yeah, I mean Austin, and you could tell that he definitely took this seriously. Definitely didn't want kind of embarrass himself, which I don't think he embarrassed himself at all. Um, and Kevin Owens, man, just probably a love in life. What he was able to do with Austin, and that says a lot. And I expect, honestly, big things from Kevin Owens going forward into this year, being that he just, re-signed. So you definitely kind of, and you see him now, on Raw, kind of just being more in the center, more in the spotlight of the main event and storyline. So that's good for Owens. I wanted for the longest time, and I'm glad that we got the Dick Kevin Owens back, not the kissing babies Kevin Owens that we had before. Um, just that was like that was probably the highlight for me, just seeing Austin in there again, Kevin Owens, and I know I'm rambling, but but Austin, man, just 19 years, still looked, he looks a little bit, in that 4K, he looks a little bit older in the face. Um, but he definitely did not embarrass himself. I kind of like the way that they, um, the way that they introduced the storylines, and I get it, because like his whole thing was that he hated Texas. I guess if I remember, that's how the storyline started. Um, that's what apparently got Austin out of all these years, out of 19 years in retirement. Kevin Owens hates Texas and all. I mean, and all of a sudden Steve Austin is pissed off about it. I get what they're doing, why they did it. They probably had an out in case Steve Austin didn't want to go forward with it. So you could have maybe inserted a guy like I don't know, anyone else who's from Texas, maybe like a guy like Booker T, or a guy like I don't know, even like Undertaker, let's just say, or anyone else from Texas. I think even um, you know. So I get it, because that was their out, but that had so much more potential to be of a bigger storyline than it actually was. Because I remember that I remember that Kevin Owens said that he met Austin at like an airport, him and Sami Zayn, and that they were scared to go up to him because they didn't want to bother him, but they're like, no, we got to do it because it's Steve Austin and they asked for advice. So they had that encounter years prior. I don't know. I just thought that maybe they kind of could have explored that a little bit more, uh, did a little bit more storytelling with that aspect of it. But I get it that you need an out in case Steve Austin wasn't able to commit or something changed last minute or whatever it may be. But can't complain. Um, can't complain. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. Um, I would not be shocked if somehow we see Steve Austin getting that one last hurrah in the Saudi. I wouldn't be shocked. One last payday. I know he pretty much said that it's a done, and he retired in Texas, and that was it. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he comes back. Yeah, I mean, definitely just the same thing that it's just so great as a heel. I remember just the ROH days with with even prior to ROH. I remember Pro Wrestling Gorilla when it was Cody and the Young Bucks, and they had that back and forth just during that era. Rather with Owens and the Young Bucks, just during that era, that time frame, he was like super asshole, and I remember it. He's a damn good heel, and that kind of leads in to my man is Ezekiel, who is the older brother, a younger brother of Elias. Now, Elias was good, but he's not great like Ezekiel. And Kevin Owens is funny with Ezekiel, but I worry about Kevin Owens because he might be going a little bit cuckoo, thinking that Ezekiel is Elias when we know, me and you know, that Ezekiel is Elias's younger brother. And he does not like to barge or intrude or interfere with anyone. It's just that sometimes, he just likes to introduce himself. And it's Elias no longer with the WWE. Remember, it's Ezekiel now, who is Elias's younger brother. Don't know if you had the opportunity to see that interaction with Glenn Jacobs. Now, see, Ezekiel went there to shake hands with Glenn Jacobs, who is the mayor of is in Knox County, Tennessee, which Knox County. I've been to Tennessee quite a few times. Strange state, let me tell you. A lot of kooks, a lot of kooks. But Ezekiel thought that Glenn Jacobs was Cain. And Glenn Jacobs said, "No, I'm not Cain. I'm Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knox County." And that is on WWE's YouTube, which is absolutely hysterical. I probably watched that video clip, probably no lie, probably like 30 times in repeat today. 30 times in repeat. I love it. I love it. And that just goes to show you that Elias is not here no more. Ezekiel is here, who is Elias's younger brother, because we know that he passed that lie detector test given out by Chad Gable. And the lie detector test does not lie. And everyone in the IWC, the great internet wrestling community, the great YouTube community, said that Ezekiel is stupid. Now, Ezekiel, I'm sure, probably told Elias this, and Elias, who's retired now, does not like this at all. But this is something that, my opinion, actually works. Too many times, the IWC, the great YouTube wrestling community, are to judge quick to judge, and they don't let things breed. First thing you hear, and I never understood it. First thing you always hear, I never understand it. He is buried. He is buried, or he is buried. It's horrible. Released before you even see the damn thing work. Just gotta lay it play exactly. You just gotta let it play out, and that's what happens. It's magical. It's like what they're doing. By the way, it is Ezekiel, not Elias. What they're doing is like so so funny. Some might say so stupid that it actually works, because you have Kevin Owens that is like, and he's helped it. And he was the great. He was the perfect one to introduce this whole thing, because I just picture Kevin Owens just saying Ezekiel, Elijah, whatever your name is, that very first Monday after WrestleMania, and it just made it work. Like he pulled it off with conviction, and Ezekiel with his dry response, because Kevin Owens is going batshit crazy. He's like, "No, I am Ezekiel," and it works. And he looks at people with five heads, as he should, that call him Elias when he's not Elias. You gotta let things breathe. And I don't know about you, man, but I want to speak with Zeke. Speak with Zeke. Exactly. There was this interview. The talents know what they're getting into. There was this interview that was with, what's the standard procedure now every time someone goes into AEW? Is it the AEW podcast? Then it's, or no, wait, it's like Renee's podcast, Oral Sessions. Then it's like the AEW podcast with the referee, with Aubrey, and then it's like Jericho's podcast in that order. Is that the new kind of thing here that they do. So to your point, what you mentioned, they had Keith Lee. They had Keith Lee interview with Jericho, and when you sign up with WWE, you know that I mean, you can't be surprised. You know about it. You know this is what they do. They look at entertainment first and wrestling secondary. Your job is to be a superstar. So the whole package. But they look at you have to be entertaining is like one of the first things that you need to do. And I forget to I would have to go back and listen to the damn thing, but I forgot to what extent, forgot exactly what it was, but when I heard it, it was like so like so like what is this dude talking about? Like Keith Lee, where Vince McMahon pulled him to the side and he goes, Keith, I need you to do such and such for me for such and such because of this character, and this is what I envision it. And the dude goes, I can't do that. And he did not even try to make it look good. He's like, I just cannot do that. I'm sorry. And then that's not, whatever the response was. And it's like, dude, you're a WWE entertainer, wrestler. You need to wrestle, you need to cut a promo, and you need to be entertaining. You need to play a character. Everyone plays a character. And the dude did not even try. You gotta listen. I know the situation is not the best. Everyone has the same creative team. But sometimes you gotta try to make salad out of chicken shit. And the dude, and it just struck me odd. Like he didn't even bother trying, and he was like surprised that Vince McMahon would even ask him to try something like that. And it wasn't something like repulsive or anything of that regard. It just, I don't know, like some of these guys, and everyone thinks that it's not going to be them, that they're going to last forever, and they're going to be the product and the mainstay and such. But you got to expect that coming into the WWE. I mean, you got to be entertaining. You got to try. I mean, and listen, that's what people want. They want to be entertained for the most part. I mean, and no matter what you say, what no matter what people say, whether it be AEW, whether it be NWA, Impact, everyone on this show entertains. You have to be entertaining, and for what it's worth, Keith Lee. I mean, man, Keith Lee, he's like, I don't know, like already in AEW, but already is like an afterthought. Is it me? Like I've seen him on the main show, and then he's not there, and I don't know if he's on the Friday night show. I haven't seen him in the last 2 weeks, but I don't see him there either. He's like already a afterthought. I don't know. It's just you know, it's just very weird. You gotta have some form of entertainment. Um, gotta try. You gotta try, and trying is what they're doing. No, actually, before we get into trying, because boy, they are trying, and it's just not working out. But just while on AEW, I am. You got to give props to where props is due with since the whole feud ended with CM Punk and MJF. By the way, I've been like I get like once I'm into something, like I repetitive, like I get um I have an addictive personality, so I haven't heard this track in like the longest time. You forget about it. I remember when was coming out to AFI, like I would play that nonstop in ROH when he was in ROH, and then he changed it, and then I forgot about it, and then he comes out to it in AEW with the old ROH team from AFI, and I go on loop like a man listening to that audio. But anyway, just I like how they transitioned. Um, and this just goes to show you how great MJF is. Um, the transition from the feud from CM Punk. And by the way, that loss hasn't affected MJF at all. At all. Like he wouldn't even know. Like it's an afterthought. It's beautiful how they are able, and I'll give AEW their props. Lately, they have been able to story tell. That's something that I thought, like in the beginning, first couple of years, that they really weren't able to story tell that much. Like I remember, like you'll be just like one, like there would be no, like these guys would really have no feuds per se in the first year or two. Like or at least to me, there was nothing that has really stuck out in the last, in the first couple of years of AEW. But the storytelling that they have been doing lately, with it's something that they were missing for quite some time. The storyline that they have with Punk and MJF, the storyline now that's developing between Cole and Dragon and the Bucks. That's a storyline that's going to be great storytelling already. The storytelling that you're ready that you have uh, Eddie Kingston, who I love, by the way, just fucking being from New York. That dude is real. That is a typical. If you haven't been to New York, that dude is a typical. Like if you went to New York, and being that I am from New York, that dude is like New York. That's the typical like dude from New York. Like what he is on TV is like the typical Bronx, Brooklyn dude, and Bronx and Brooklyn is just gonna happen to skip from where I am, and his storytelling with Garcia and Joke Appreciation Society. So whatever. Back to the original point. I love that they have really focused on long term storytelling, which and it just something that they've lacked. And I think something that they really are doing better right now than AEW, than WWE for the most part. I mean, you have the Roman Reigns storyline there, you have RK Bro, but besides that, speaking of RK Bro, I see it coming. But yeah, the storytelling, MJF and Wardlow. When Wardlow finally gets his hands on MJF, it will be worth seeing because they are building this up week by week by week, and every single week, MJF is as despicable, if not more despicable, than the prior week until he finally gets his hands on him, and just the way he says "pig," you pig, like you almost feel for Wardlow, and you don't even know the dude, and he is just on a roll. The fans are behind him. He has the expression. He has the expressions. I just worry about Wardlow. I worry about Wardlow. I worry if he is more than power bombs. Besides the power bombs, can he keep pace in the match? Because listen, I get it. The power moves. He doesn't have to have long matches. Guys, don't some guys necessarily don't have long matches. Goldberg never had long matches per se. It was all about intensity, guys like this. But eventually, you also need to tell a story in the ring. So I want to see if if he could go that way in the ring as well. Um, It'll be interesting, but I like where they're going with Wardlow and MJF. I yeah, Tony doesn't know what to do with his talents. That is correct. He has a lot of him. He's signing everyone and anything at this point. Now I think it will play into I think him buying ROH maybe. You will see a lot of those guys under the ROH umbrella, if I'm not mistaken. The new ROH. It'll be interesting to see where what they do with ROH. I've been hearing like I guess like I don't know where I heard it, like Meltzer or one of these dirt sheets, that they're looking to do an online type of a stream system, kind of like what WWE has with Peacock. But from what I hear, the company that's forget what it was. I forget, like one of the companies that's looking to buy or invest is like mostly um, like they want the product to be PG, which definitely won't work with the nutso AEW hardcore fans there. I don't know where I heard that. I think I might be wrong, but yeah, there are a lot of dudes. There are a lot of dudes there that um, just don't. That Tony really doesn't know what to do. Like and this was something that Booker T said, just like old news, or like within the last 2 or 3 weeks, like pretty much to the extent of how it's looked upon, how he thinks it's looked upon to be in a um, from being on a federation that's on major TV network to all of a sudden, let's say, signing with said AEW, and now no longer even appearing on TV, just appearing on a YouTube show. How he thinks that's a step below. And I wouldn't, if you look at it now. I don't know contracts per se. I don't know how much each of them are getting. Like Ruby Riot, I haven't seen in a while. I'm assuming she's on AEW Dark. I'm assuming. Um, with like for example, like Ruby Riot. If you're a Ruby Riot, and I remember seeing her on WWE TV when she came back from her injury. But prior to her injury, she was getting um, like TV, like title matches, and then she got injured and she couldn't. I don't know. She just wasn't the same. Couldn't find a way, and then she was released, and you hear stories about how upset she was and how she just wasn't liking what she was doing. Just wasn't the same in WWE. So for like someone like that, who was supposedly unhappy in WWE, and they're going to AEW for a new start. I mean, you're wrestling, right? Which is something that you wanted to do. Whether you're wrestling on a cable TV network or not, does it really matter to you at that point? It's like you're doing what you love doing. You're probably wrestling some of your friends that you've seen on the indies prior, right? So I mean, you're having fun. You're wrestling. It's not like you're wrestling and not. It's like you're not. It's not like you're wrestling in an empty arena. You're wrestling in front of a crowd to a certain extent. But if someone walks up to you, Ruby Riot, where are you wrestling? Oh, AEW. Where? What show? Oh, AEW Dark on YouTube. I mean, I don't think Ruby Riot really cares about that. Um, I think she just loves wrestling, and I'm sure she's getting a nice paycheck. So I really don't think, something like that really matters to some of these talents. Um, but if you look at it, you're wrestling on AEW Dark. I mean, you're wrestling, you're getting matches, but you're not on the main storylines, which is something that you wanted to be, and you thought that you don't have an opportunity, you don't have that you didn't have a chance in WWE. So now, essentially, you're back in the same position, I guess. You're in the same spot that you were in WWE, only you like what you're doing. And hey, if that is the case, then absolutely, more props to you. But I think Ruby Riot and these talents that Booker T mentioned that just kind of are working on AEW Dark, being that they came from WWE and they have TV experience, I still think they're making the big checks and just wrestling, kind of just there, and really no one knows about them. But I don't think that really matters to them. I just think that they like wrestling at this point. Eventually, I think that you will hear the rumblings and the crying about how certain people are not happy. Yeah, the Hardys were on Dark. Um, just man, so how the whole story with the Hardy came out, and how Jeff Hardy kind of just basically walked out and just took a stroll in the stands, and he's like, "Ah, this is perfect." And I think I'm a psychopath, and I'm back on the bottle, and just gives me a way to get out of the contract. Pretty brilliant if you think about it, um, but pretty shit thing to do if you have all these WWE fans there, and that you kind of left. Because let's face it, a lot of these WWE kid fans, they don't know what AEW is, I don't think. And now they think that, like, the Hardy is gone or he retired or something, because they're like, he's not on TV. I don't know, and I think I even heard that they were like kind of prepping him to just go on another run, a title run or something to that extent against Roman Reigns. He probably wouldn't have won, but being a major program. But there go the Hardys, and more power to them. At least they're not in a stable, and at least not for now. They're probably still a tag team because God knows that we don't have enough stables and factions in AEW. Speaking of stables and factions, I don't think I mentioned this, but Mr. Regal is now with AEW. And well, that's definitely listen, William Regal coming being with AEW is absolutely William Regal being with AEW is a win-win situation, no matter how you look at it. No matter what role he has on TV, whether it be just a dude that stands in there representing Danielson and Moxley, whether he commentates one week, his main value, I think, is just being able to be in the back there and lend an ear and just be able to help out a lot of these younger guys who have never been on TV before. You make them more comfortable. And he was again, he was with NXT for the longest time. He was around a younger talent, so he knows what he's doing. And he's a veteran that you could lend an ear to, and I'm sure he will give you advice. So it's a win-win. It is definitely a win-win. You know, the combat. What is it? The combat society or the combat zone, whatever it is, whatever the name is, it slips me. It wasn't a bad name. It was a catchy name. What was it? What is the name? What is the name of Brian Danielson's new tag team? Blackpool Blackpool Combat. The hell? Blackpool Combat Club. Try saying that a zillion times. Hey, what did Mark Henry say? That it has the potential. No, wait. Or he was, and I get it. Mark Henry is with AEW. Okay, I get it. I love Busted Open. I've listened to it numerous times. And he said, man said that a Blackpool Combat will be better than the NWO. Whoa, pump the brakes, Mark Henry. Pump the brakes. I know you're just happy to be there in AEW. They're giving you a nice paycheck. Mark Henry, can you can you pump the brakes, please? I get Brian Danielson. I got John Moxley. Wild Thing, and yes, with the kicks, and the new dude there who basically just put blood on himself and pledged his allegiance. Can we at least have this faction be around for a year or two before we start comparing them to the NWO and that they will be better than the NWO? Can we at least develop exactly Why can we at least have their first? Do they have the T-shirts? Can we at least have the first uh, T-shirts out, please? A Blackpool um, Combat like club, please, please. Can we pump the brakes? And again, but William Regal, he was a wrestler, and he was also in a lot of like sketch comedy type of things throughout his time, so he has experience with that as well. And it's a win-win. It's a win-win. There's a lot of bodies there to give advice, and I think that's definitely a good hire by um, AEW. With that being said, I need a drinky poo. Let's see. And let's try to go to my old catalog here of old videos. Jeez, I've been on YouTube now for what, fucking since 2010. This was not the first channel I had. This is the secondary channel. Um, yeah, well, I started like in 2010. Have 3 channels now. Jeez, man, all these years on YouTube. Let's see. Trying to do something old, an older video. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Let's see. Wow. Katie Vick storyline. Dean Ambrose with their shield or without shield storyline. Man, let's see what we could do. As I get me here we go. Dean Ambrose heel turn after Reigns announcement. Bad timing. As I'll be right back. Getting a drink. Oops.
You might say to yourself after watching Raw, given the circumstances of what Roman Reigns is going through, and the fact that they just won the tag team 2 belts in Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, you may feel that this was probably the worst night to do this in turning Dean Ambrose heel. But, maybe you were expecting it sometime down the road. You might be questioning to yourself, how will a heel and a face stay a tag team? I'd say it's poorly executed in that sense. But let's tell you this. I think putting how they're going to function together aside, I think, in a sense of whether to criticize if this is the right time or not, I think this is the absolute right time to do it. The absolute right time to do it. And I bet a lot of people will tune in to see what happens next week. And that's what they want you to do. And more people watching it after Roman's announcement, so it has maximum impact. WWE takes from the ultimate low in Roman's announcement to the ultimate high, Seth and Dean winning the tag titles, to the ultimate low, Dean turning on Seth. Excellent. storyline. And it's brilliant booking with an easy out if it's not working. You just made Dean the second biggest heel in WWE behind Ciampa. Imagine people are thinking, Dean, after what your brother in the Shield just went through, you do this to Seth Rollins today? Instantly, I think, makes him second biggest heel behind Ciampa. And if by some miracle it doesn't work, you could just play on what's happened to Roman caused Dean to snap. Excellent out. And you then play the story out for Seth to get through to his Shield brother. Classic WWE story telling. Just up to them to tell it right. And now he doesn't get too cheesy. So that is an out. And think of it, it shifts all the focus off Reigns and what he's going through. People going home from the event and people watching will still be feeling bad for him. But at the same time, they'll be feeling angry or excited. Look, this was the perfect time, no matter which way you cut it. Dean is one of those characters that's really hard to make a heel. Even turning on his Shield brothers to be seen, it might not even have been enough. He's a loose cannon. That's part of the reason why so many people love him. Now, turn on his Shield brothers, same night, Roman relinquished his title due to illness. Instant mega heel. Instant mega heel. Watch this play out. And this was the absolute right time to do it. I hope all is well. Look forward to speaking to you very, very soon.
That was back in like 2008. That clip just there. That was when you had Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns making his announcement. He was sick. He had to go back, and he did his turn. Looking back on it, it kind of fell flat. But now you're at an interesting point where I think that was if it was 2018. From if you read the internet and you believe um, what is being said, FTR, but specifically like FTR, I am sure FTR is looking at what is happening with the Cody Rhodes situation right now, and he one of the dudes from FTR even said that they would, if the circumstance was right, that they would consider coming back to the WWE. That's an obviously no shit type of a comment because why would you already take out the biggest player in the game and say, oh no, that you're absolutely not coming to them? That would make absolutely no sense whatsoever, right? So of course you want to say that you're interested in coming to WWE, whether you're interested or not. Time will tell. But this is what they're doing with Cody Rhodes is going to be the blueprint of what The talent in AEW's contracts are expiring. Gonna play a part. Gonna play a part. Right now, you are seeing Cody Rhodes looking like $1 million. $1 million. They are going all out. Pyro every time fucking pyro every time that he enters in the arena for a segment. Every damn time. By the way, I hope that does not get old quickly. Uh, be careful with that. And they are making him um, look like $1 million. He's a dude, again, that for now, anyway, for now, that went out and made himself 10 times a bigger name than when he was in WWE. And now WWE recognizes that. I'm not the biggest Cody fan in the world per se, but I do recognize that he does get a ovation. Um, and he opens Raw the last couple of weeks. He is being treated like a king. He has proved his name. He has improved his worth. And it's like almost like, in a sense, like what WWE has been doing. It's like all of a sudden WWE is like, oh, wait a minute. This is what AEW did with Cody Rhodes. I mean, they made him presented him like he's credible. Why couldn't we do that? You mean Stardust wasn't the best thing for Cody Rhodes? Wow, I'm shocked. So now, I mean, like Stardust was an EVP? Jeez, well, guy's legit. Guy's serious. Let's keep him here, and Cody. Yeah, Cody, come on board. Whatever you want, Cody. Yes, your own bus. Yes, Cody. Well, you know what, Cody will even throw you in your own bus. And listen, I am sure Cody worked himself a nice deal. He came back a better version of himself than what he was in WWE. And now it's almost like he has his own, he is in complete or majority control of his own character and the direction that he's going. And he has built himself a storyline with a purpose that will drag on and build more steam until he is the one that eventually will knock out Roman Reigns. I don't think, now, for Cody Rhodes to get to that spot, it's going to take some damn time. He's got to continue to build that steam behind that train. And he's going to have that match against Roman Reigns, who at that time has already broken records upon records, still never lose his title from where he is now. That's what I think, just tying this in, that's what I think the championship reign of Roman Reigns will be. It will be only, you will lose it, he will lose it only to a guy that is on the verge or that is a megastar just completely ready to burst, to explode. So the way I see it going, I see it being Cody Rhodes going straight to that path. If not him, then I could see it being uh, Braun Breaker, Breaker, that kid Breaker. I could see him going to being in that build. Now it's going to larger than life, overthrowing Roman Reigns. That's what I think is going to happen. They're not going to have, Brock Lesnar or some guy that's not a superstar take the belt off of Roman Reigns. Which brings me to this whole point that I was trying to make originally. FTR, will they come back? I never say never. Uh, and I think what WWE has learned or seen from these guys since they left WWE, it took AEW to bring it out of them. So I think they see uh, FTR now as being stars, like being like legit stars. So they will they will get a nice deal. But the only thing, if I was FTR, I would wonder to myself, um, like, who am I facing? Like, there are no tag teams here, right? There's only Usos, RK Bro, yada 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 yada. So there are no tag teams. But make no mistake about it, for a lot of these guys that have this jaded image of WWE since they were let go or they asked for their release, the way that Cody Rhodes is being treated, I think will set a precedent for if these guys, or be a blueprint for these guys coming back, and they will kind of use that as leverage with WWE. Hey, you really want me to come back again? Okay, well, Cody got this. I'll come back, but this is what has to happen. Control of the character, the or everything goes by me first. So make no mistake about it. If WWE does not screw up this presentation, if let me rephrase that, if WWE screws up this presentation of Cody Rhodes, then a lot of the talent will have second thoughts about coming back uh, to WWE. Dashing Cody Rhodes. Yeah, I mean, you think it will be Orton? Orton. I don't know, man. Orton beating Roman Reigns as just like a final send off, kind of like a final thank you for your 20 years. Just make sure you don't pee in the Divas bags in the locker room. Um, yeah, I don't listen. If I don't know, I just don't see it being at this point. Now yeah, I don't. I think just like that, the way that they have built up Roman Reigns now in quote unquote, like he says, God mode. I don't know how if Randy Orton at this stage of the game is the dude to you know, defeat God mode, so to speak. I don't know. Could be wrong. I don't know. I don't see it with Randy Orton. What I do see, and I smell that a mile away. Oh man, Riddle is going to get his ass beaten by Randy Orton hugely, hugely. I so see that happening. It is not even, not even like it's not even a thing. Like it's going to happen. I think the Usos are going to unify the tag team titles. You're going to have the bloodline as being the ones, being the dominant force in WWE, and God knows if any division needs unification, it's the tag team division because there only what like 3 or 4 tag teams, and they pretty much face each other week after week. It seems to be a running episode, so you definitely need a unification of that belt where but teams go to SmackDown and Raw to win it. But once that happens, then it's gonna be where Riddle costs them the tag titles. Orton is gonna go on full on legend killer type of beast mode and just all annihilate Riddle, and in the process is going to make Riddle look like a star. Look like a star. Man, I remember, speaking of Randy Orton, 20 years, man. I remember because Randy Orton is just I think a year older than me, and I remember when he came out 20 years ago. Early on, really wasn't a Randy Orton fan, but when he became the legend killer, when he became a heel, that's the Randy Orton. Just any stage of Randy Orton when he's a heel, that's the stage that of Randy Orton that I love best. Legend killer, what he's done to like Mick Foley, to Hogan, I believe as well. Um, that was probably and I loved him with Evolution. I loved him there as well. Dude has some of the sickest shirts. I gotta tell you that. For just wearing like, I'm not into big wrestling shirts per se. Like I have the Savage, I have NWO, I have your standard like basic heavy shirt that a wrestling fan should have. Rowdy Piper, Hot Rod, those shirts. But dude has some nice T-shirts. He has the RKO, which is the RKO T-shirt was pretty badass. He has good shirts, and what else can you say? Just a dude that is like very obviously synchronized. It's almost to a fault, right? Where it's like, oh, the same Randy Orton match again, same boring stuff, but he has it synchronized to a point. Poor Kofi Kingston, though, in earlier stages of Randy Orton, when Randy Orton was a douchebag, that didn't help Kofi Kingston, did it? With Kofi Kingston missed what was it, like missed a spot or something to that regard, and when they were Randy Orton went off on him because he missed the damn spot. Like, geez, man. Yeah, but I mean that's what I remember of Randy Orton. Just you know, nice finish, nice finisher with Diamond Cutter, Stone Cold Stunner, whatever, a variation. Legend Killer, and just when he's heel prick Randy Orton, that is when he is the best Randy Orton. Cody, I cannot take a dude. I cannot take Riddle seriously turning on Orton, man. Dude, first of all, dude needs to wear shoes, and then I'll take him seriously. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Yes, and I think when it was when it was that I think that was the time when they had the whole race car thing, and yeah, man, just some of that stuff, man. Vintage Orton, as Michael Cole liked to say. Um, Speaking of which, vintage. I was on since I work from home, which has been like the absolute best thing that has ever happened. I get to see my kid grow up and and you get to like stay in your pajamas and you get to like snack on food and still work, right? So work and more importantly, like you get to have like the fucking like TV on or whatever, YouTube playing in the background and watching old clips. So I'm working and on the side I have speaking of vintage, I have on the whole Eddie Guerrero um Eddie Guerrero, like the whole summary, like the whoever did it put it in weeks where it was just like one viewing, but it was I guess over a couple of weeks. The whole Rey Mysterio, Dominic, Eddie Guerrero storyline, which was absolutely fucking phenomenal. Old school WWE, that storyline, man. For what it's worth, where a lot of people think that it was kind of like a little bit of a shit storyline, a little bit far fetched out there. But man, they made again, which goes into the whole saying, they made salad out of chicken shit, man. Great, phenomenal storyline. Damn it, man. And Eddie died way too young. Way too young, man. But one of probably the greatest. You would imagine what he would have been able to do if he was able to stay around. Um, Speaking of which, I also, just speaking of sad, it's sad, and I didn't even realize how close she actually lived near me. But that's Ashley Mazzaro. She was, you remember Ashley Mazzaro, the diva. They saying that she hung herself a couple of years ago, or that she well that's what they're saying on TMZ anyway. But she passed away in 2019, and I was driving past it in Smithtown, Long Island, and I was driving past it and found out that that's where she's buried. So I just went in just to see her grave. It's very sad, man. 40 years old. Um, Ashley Mazzaro. Yeah, it's very sad. Like it's in the back of a small cemetery. I don't know if she has any visitors, um, but yeah, she was living out in Smithtown, and this is actually her grave now. Okay, let's see. Nope. No, 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 nope, 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 nope. That's not it. That's not it. Anyway, yeah, that is her grave. 40 years old, man. Sad, sad thing, man. 40, and it's even like more sad too that as her brother, I think, like the following year later, just randomly was on a New York City street corner and gets killed by like a random dude. Dude walks up on him and just stabs him. And he was like the same age as around Mazzaro age. Really, like just puts things in a lot of in a lot of puts things in perspective. Puts things in perspective. Last couple of weeks, I've been seeing, and I've been not knowing what to really think about it. And again, um, I'm still going to be of the mindset to give it a chance. Um, give it a chance. But I don't know what is happening with our buddy Walter, aka Gunther, on SmackDown. Do not know what is happening with. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Gunther. Um, Walter, listen, they changed the name from Walter to Gunther. You know, a big deal, big deal. You call him Walter, you call him Gunther. It's still the same move set. Um, whether it's Gunther or Walter, it's still the same damn move set. It doesn't make a difference what you call him. I call him Gunther. Name change really doesn't bother me. Same thing for, by the way, for Theory being called Theory now and not Austin Theory. Who the hell cares? What do you call him? Austin Theory or Theory? It's still Austin Theory or Theory. Still the same guy. Still the same move set. But I don't know what is happening with our buddy Gunther here. And that just goes to show you again um, that, when WWE says that a lot of people that watch NXT, or rather, that a lot of people that watch SmackDown do not watch NXT. And that is the case, I guess, to a point. I mean, why is this man um, just not receiving any reaction whatsoever? No yay, no nay, no reaction. Dead silence. And that is bad. That is bad. Is it because he's portraying, a controversial figure from, the 40s and society now as a whole is different, and where back then they would just boo the living crap out of it and just just not like it at all, and just boo, and that's what you're supposed to do. Do fans just ignore it completely and are completely disgusted by it now that they do not even want to acknowledge it, that it exists? What is it that his wrestling on TV for an audience that goes to see SmackDown? Are they expecting more flash? Are they expecting more pajazz? Are they expecting more oomph? what is it with poor Gunther? I mean, he is having squash. I mean, if you look at the other side of things, our buddy that we almost made it a running gag, where okay, we're gonna get another vignette of him coming for near Mahal, where he actually now has come and he's just beating up jabronis. He beat up the jabroni Dominic, who sent him back to eat a few sandwiches, but he's getting reaction. This dude Walter Gunther is not getting any type of reaction whatsoever, and that is worrisome uh, for me. And maybe should he be on the microphone more? How are you gonna change? And I get he's supposed to be stoic, but this whole thing with Gunther, this whole experience, it's not working. Vladimir Kozlov treatment, absolutely. Whatever it is, even Vladimir Kozlov, I think, got some type of reaction. Gunther over here, no reaction. And so if you're WWE now, if you're Bruce Pritchard, do you turn up the volume? I mean, do you go all in now with this character? Do you turn up the volume where you're going to have to do something with this character, which almost makes it impossible not for you to boo him? Can you think of something like that, which is clever? It just, I don't know. I worry about Gunther. I worry about Gunther, and hopefully they can figure it out because, listen, if you have this type of a character that you present, either you're going to be have to go all in now and not be reserved, laid back, and I think we all know what we mean by all in, or you absolutely have to change this character or do something else, repackage it, which is like the kiss of death normally, because unfortunately it is not working out for Gunther on the main roster. Kind of, which leads me into this whole thing, which is absolutely perplexing, as we're 90 minutes deep in for a snooze fest. Under the covers, under the blanket. We're going to wrap this up very shortly, and I know all are sleeping. I'm sure if anyone is still awake. But I don't understand what in the hell happened with Lacey Evans. Can someone explain to me what happened with Lacey Evans? They were going in the direction of explaining her background, you know, and kind of leading down the path of why she became, why she went into the service. It's going towards that path, and I always liked the original Lacey Evans character, and I said to myself, hey, this would be a nice kind of a sticking point to have a Lacey Evans be present this side of her, um, when she was playing, even when she was playing the Southern Belle. But now they go in all this. They explain her family life, and then it seems like this past week they made a complete left-hand turn right off of the roadway into like a ditch where she's not protecting anyone else but herself. What? I thought like she was supposed to stand up for like stand up for everyone, make a difference, stand up to bullying, and be a positive role model and influence. And all of a sudden, the character makes a huge left turn where it's almost like they decided to ditch everything that they were talking about the last couple of weeks and just have her be this person that just cares about herself all of a sudden. Really, really strange. Strange. And I'm not sure if that has helped Lacey Evans, if that has hurted Lacey Evans, or if she was just better off staying with the character that she was, which is the Southern Belle. Very, very weird. Perplexing to me. Perplexing as well. Who do we see? Oh, but boy, was I cracking up. I am sure everyone was cracking up as well when they heard Ali come down to the ring and Miz and Austin Theory are there. Miz goes, "You still here? You still work for the company?" And Theory goes, "I thought you picked up your ball and went home." So here we are. Ali did not get his release. Maybe again, I think I made a video on Ali. If you had decided um, not to do it on social media in public, maybe if you done it privately, I don't know why everyone needs to run to social media to do all whatever they need to do their business. You could maybe possibly just, do a fax. Yeah, I'm sure they have faxes still. Maybe write an email or even text message or a even a phone call. That would have worked. But as soon as you go on social media, absolutely no chance of being let go. No chance. So, and listen, Ali has gotten chances. Again, not all his fault, but you got to take some of the blame. Ali had the chances, man. He had that. Remember from the very beginning, going back now, he had that put. He was supposed to have that push, that championship push that Kofi Kingston got there for a short minute, short second, whatever it was. He got injured, and Kofi took that spot. He was part of Retribution, which was a major storyline. Um, so he has gotten. He was on TV with Mansoor trying to be his. Oh, by the way, what happened to Mansoor? So he has he has been given opportunity. He has been on TV. It's not like he has not been on TV. He's been on TV. And he's had chances. He's had opportunities. Now I know again, not everything is his fault, but again, you have to take equal responsibility at times with the WWE because they did give you chances. And I'm sorry if you're not able to make it work. They, you know, can't lead a horse to water every single time. You can't do that. I'm sure they gave him more than one opportunity. He was not able to make it work. Okay, so I don't know. He's gotten more opportunities than some people in the back have. Again, just my thoughts on that. Um, Two quick things here. Again, two quick things to kind of wrap up here. Another episode of Clean Pin. one quick thing. L.A. Knight. L.A. Knight. Back. Not back, but made Dark debut on SmackDown, I believe it was. He's getting a whole little crew together over there on a job crew. I mean, no, actually, I think Mansoor is part of that crew now, from what I've been reading, and Mace is part of that crew. But he is a manager, a management team, and everyone IWC yet again is up in arms. LA Knight cannot be a manager. He has to be a wrestler. Again, very only thing I could say is let this whole play out. It's gonna be good. It has to make its debut first on the main. Let's try to get it on actual TV. That's the first step. Remember, no one said that LA Knight is no longer going to be wrestled. You just have LA Knight debuting as a manager. Well, guess what? The storyline develops with him and his crew, or storyline develops with him and someone that's not in his crew talking smack. And guess what? He wrestles. He might be a manager slash wrestler, or he may be building up a storyline. That way, he could wrestle an important match, and because of how the storyline has escalated. LA Knight will wrestle again, relax. All of a sudden, we have people that are LA Knight fans. My goodness gracious. Let's all relax. And the word of the day is let it breathe. Yes, pretty much Adam Cole's place. Only and they were gonna rename Adam Cole too. I forget what it was. Now that would suck for Adam Cole because he wouldn't be able to do the whole Adam Cole, baby. By the way, that fucking theme from AEW, Adam Cole's absolutely fire. That is fire. Fire. Um anyway, last thing. Last thing. Um Edge and the rebranding, I guess, the second coming of, guess what they call themselves now, Judgment Day. At first, I don't know, with the lighting and all that during Damian Priest match against um a few weeks with the Damian Priest match and the effects that they play. Um, to me, again, this is clearly Brood 2.0. Um, it's dark, it's sinister, it has all those components. You have to let it develop. Edge, there I go. If you have to let it develop, you have to let it breathe. Edge is a great damn storyteller. We all know this, both in and out of the ring. By the way, you had guys like that big dude over from Brody King or Brody saying that Edge's faction, Judgment Day, is a ripoff of what they're doing with Buddy Murphy and what they're doing when they split up in their group. I'm sorry, what they the group of Brody. and Alistair Black are saying that Edge is pretty much copying them. Not the case. Brody tweeted that. That's what he was insinuating. We have to realize, Brody, that everything is a rip off of something else. Is just how you take it and make it your own. So no, relax, Brody King, the Great Edge. This is Brood. This is his storyline. This is his creation. He is not sitting and watching AEW thinking, "Oh, let me get the faction going." Macaulay Black has. So let's take a step back. That is it. We're running deep in here. It's a work night tomorrow. We're running deep, and we're gonna call it a night. This is 1 hour 45 minutes into it. Can't really have the brood without Gangrel. That is true. Can't really have brood without Christian. Last I heard, Christian was somewhere with the Jurassic Express. Man, and I poor 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 Christian, man. Every time I watch him with Jurassic Express or whoever he is, he just looks like he is having, I don't know, a mech type of a time. I don't know, man. He hasn't really been wrestling all that much, and I get it. But man, the guy looks like he just wants to come back sooner than later. But yeah, man, Cody Ray, I appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate the kind words, and I look forward to some wrestling videos on your end, man. Come on now, get on that wrestling game. I know some of it is so miserable to watch, but there's some good parts of it, man. I appreciate the kind words, man. Yeah, man, definitely. We will do this again, and this is so fucking. It's so hard to do, man. When life and you got kids and job, that's crazy, and this and that and that. But the game plan is every 2 weeks with wrestling videos here and there. Yeah, so definitely hit the subscribe notification bell. Appreciate it. Appreciate